I will find you and I will kill you. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Celebman
and Celeb Wifey.
Welcome back to our channel, guys. If it's your first time, please make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, and
all that jazz.
Today we've got another banger. Yeah, that's what we used to do. I missed that, you know. Oh, I missed that. But we have a story time for you guys. Excuse the cap here, my hair is a little bit of a yeah, so let me just put that on there. Anyway, but you obviously can see down in the description, we're talking about the time that Hayley got us scammed.
Me?
You? What? Of course, who else was it?
Don't blame me.
Well, man, I'm from East London, so man don't get scammed. At me.
Me, you found the house. You got scammed, bro. I just went along with it, bro.
I just went along with it. You got scammed.
Lie. You got scammed.
Well, we got scammed, fam, out of £2,000, or 2,300. So yeah, we're about to tell you the story of how that went down. Guys, we're sorry we haven't filmed in a long time. It is what it is. Life is busy. Life is not easy. You get me? It's not easy. Trust me. Anyway, let's take them back. 2018. Hayley and I have sunk all of our money into our wedding. Put a little like wedding. Look at my wedding. Okay. And we had just moved into a brand new house. Not a brand new house, but we moved into a new house after being married. And
you're both working.
Yeah, I was working.
I was doing 2 jobs at the time.
She was working 2 jobs. I was working a job. And yeah, we was both just grinding back to the hostel. You know, you spend, you know, pushing 30 bags on your wedding. Yeah. You start to get back to hustling. So that's literally what we was doing. We was working and then, you know, whatever. And then we was renting that house. And then the landlord decided to sell the house that we was renting from her, which means that she had to evict us.
She was a scumbag, to be honest. She knew she wanted to sell the house, and before she just say, hey guys, I'm selling the house or whatever, and it's a short tenancy, she let us, you know, move in and us expecting we could be there at least a year. That really irritated me. It rubbed me up so bad that I was
because we painted the house, we did the garden.
The house was dead, bro. We went in the house and the walls were brown.
Who has brown walls? So we got one of our friends. He does like painting. He wallpaper as well. Yeah. And wallpaper. So he painted some areas, wallpapered some areas. Like we spent money. Then we did the garden. All for 4 months for her to evict us, to say, guys, I'm selling the place. Like we was livid. But
she got her comeuppance though, because she never sold that for like a year.
Yeah. The house was on the market for ages, which was good.
Dirty woman.
And I don't think it was rented out anyway after that as well. So she lost out big time. Anyway, so obviously that's going on. We got to look for a new place. So I'm looking for a new place for us to rent out, I go on Gumtree. Normally I go to estate agents, how we found out this one, but I thought to myself, let me look. I was looking on from estate agents, but there was literally nothing, and it was a little bit frustrating. Or the ones that were really nice were like way too expensive, like £1,800, you know, a month, you know, and
for like a 2-bedroom
for a 2-bedroom house. Yeah, I mean, England, London's very expensive, so it was just a little bit overwhelming at the time. We couldn't really afford it. So I was looking on Gumtree where it's more private sellers, and we saw this amazing house. It was nice. It was like 5 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, and it was
it's huge, and it's in a
huge
nice
house in a nice area, really nice, and it was going for, I can't remember how much the rental was.
I feel like it was like
but like the same, yeah, but like like just a little bit more than what we was currently paying.
But you get so much more.
But you got so much more house for it.
most definitely too good to be true. Because I even said it to you. I said, this looks too good to be true.
Literally.
Went to the viewing.
Literally.
Went to the viewing and it was like nice. The guy was there. He was cool. Like
literally, got a perfect guy. You know, everything was just perfect. We looked at the house. We looked around, and it wasn't even that we went once. We went there multiple times. Even my brother came along with us at one point to come and look at it. We was kind of planning how we was gonna live, and yeah, it was just so good. The guy was an absolute professional. Anyway, we ended up going ahead with it. He asked me for my bank details, my driving license.
Wait. But before we even did that, because I was still a bit skeptical at that point, and I said to Kenny, like, make sure you check that it's actually him, it's his house. Like, check, like, has he got the deed to the house or whatever it is? I don't really know what documentation you have to show to prove that you own something.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying, and he provided all the documentation. Like, we wanted proof that he owned the house, and he gave it to us.
Everything, letters in his name. Like he showed us letters that were at the property that was the same as his ID, like literally. So there was nothing that showed us it wasn't his house, but there was everything. He had everything to prove it was.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, though we were relatively skeptical, I think that skepticism left quite quickly because it seemed like he had everything. Well, everything was in order. So we paid the deposit. The deposit was 2,300, I think it was, and then you obviously paid the first month's rent when you move in or whatever. So I was like,
he gave us the key.
So I paid the deposit, and the day I paid the deposit, I got the keys. We got the keys to the house, and yeah, it was great. We had the keys, and we was going in and out the house. Even when he left. And we would go back by ourselves.
We went back a few times. Like, okay,
into the house.
Up, like, okay, cool. We need to get this furniture, this here, this gonna go here. But then he said to us, like, on Monday, the Monday that was coming up, the cleaning people were gonna come, and you can just let them know what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep, because it was like part furnished. So yeah,
So yeah, we were like, cool. Like it was cool. You know, and I think that was like a Friday.
Something like that.
Something like that. And then the Saturday we went back there again. And then the Sunday we went there again. Everything just seemed perfect. We were so excited to move in, you know, especially from having, you know, just been newlyweds for 4 months, just trying to get back on our feet, spending so much money in the house you're in. And then, you know, you get a bit of money again and then you got to move. You just about managed to do that. You're thinking, okay, at least it's not the worst situation. We was even saying we might even be able to rent out one of the 2 rooms so we can try at least make some money back, so we're not, you know, so that, you know, it's a bit more financially financially friendly for us. And then Monday comes, I go to work. You was off, right?
Yeah. No, I had work, but
later on in the day.
Late shift.
So I went to work in the morning, and she went to the house because the cleaner was coming, right? And then
I got to the house and there was a lady there, like cleaning up the house. And so I've come in with the key, opened the door, and I'm like, oh, you're the cleaner lady. And she's like, yeah. And then like, I was telling her that how, I can't remember what the guy's name was. I can't remember what his name was. I was saying, oh yeah, he said to let you know what we wanted to keep and what we didn't want to keep. And she was like, sorry. I'm like, you're here to clean the property, we're moving in today. She's like, moving in? She's like, this is my house. And I was like, what? Like, we literally look at each other like, what? Like, they're confused. I was like, we just rented the house. Like, we met up with the guy that owns the place, whatever his name was. And she was like, no, my husband, blah, blah, owns this house. Like, proper. And then she called them up and she was like, oh, this lady's here because she's saying that she rented the house and da-da-da-da. Basically, what it turns out is that this couple, they own the house and they rent it out on Airbnb. And so this guy, this flippers.
Before we even get to that, so she calls me on the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm at work. She calls me on the phone and she's like, oh, babe, the owner of the house is here. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, no, it's not. What's his name now? I can't remember his name. It's not this guy. It's a woman. I'm like, what do you mean it's a woman? She was like, fam, he doesn't own the house. I was like, what? She said, the owner of the property is here. I couldn't understand it. So I was like, okay, what's going on kind of thing? She's like, the house is on, the woman who owns the house is here. And she rents it, she rents it on Airbnb. The moment she said that, I was just like, oh my days, my heart sunk.
Literally.
Like my heart sunk.
I was shaking.
I was shaking. I was at work. I had bloodshot red eyes.
I think you called that Ty straight away, innit?
I think I called him straight away on the phone.
You called him?
I called him on the phone. No. And bear in mind, he had always picked up the call. Called him today, no picking up. Called him. He didn't pick up my call.
Basically, what he did, yeah, is he hired, like, he booked the Airbnb for like a week or two, and then got the keys copied, did all the documentation, everything, all of the flipping fraudulent stuff that he did, and then listed it up on Gumtree as his own property. And that was his scam. And he did that, we found out that he did that for several properties.
So we found out that he scammed on that property alone at least 20 people, but we're going to get into that. So then I leave work and I race all the way home. You know, I obeyed all the speed limits. I didn't break any laws. I got home and I got to the property where Hayley was. She was still there. And the landlord was there, the woman was there, and her husband was there at the time as well.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't there, but the woman was there. And she was telling me that she's renting it out. In fact, she was telling me she rented to a bunch of lads. Because they were there as well, right?
No, I think those were the ones that were coming that day.
Yeah, so there's a group of lads who rented it on Airbnb, and they were there as well. So I was like, oh my days, what's going on here? So she called her husband to come. Husband was on the way. There was me and my wife was there because we had rented out this place. I think we're gonna move in today. And then there's a group of lads, like 5 of them, who had legally rented it off Booking.com, who were about to move in, and they were there. So imagine this picture. I've spent £2,000 of my hard-earned cash to move into a place, and the person who I paid it to is not there. The landlord isn't there. The landlord on the house is there, and people are moving in.
It was a hot mess.
It was a hot mess.
I think at that point I dipped for work. I had to go for work.
I think he had to go to work. So I stayed. The landlord came, the husband of the landlord, sorry. He came. And yeah, we were just kind of discussing all the situation. Then another couple comes, another guy and a woman. They came to the house because they too were moving in that day. And they had keys to the property. So there's me with keys who's paid a deposit. There's another couple who's paid with keys with their deposit. There's the landlord and the husband, and there's the owner of the property, sorry, and the husband, and there's some group of guys moving in. And this is meant to be our magical day moving to our new home. And the person who we both paid the deposit to is nowhere to be seen. So we were stressed out. Anyways, we go back and forth, we figure it out, that what's happened, and we realized that we've just been scammed, and we was a victim of a highly professional job. Anyway, so check this out, this funny part. Check how ironic this is. So I take the landlord's number, the husband. I said to him, if anybody else turns up at the house, give them my number, because I want to report it to the police, yada yada yada. So give them my number and get them to get in contact with me so we can figure it out. He was like, cool. So he took my number and then he texted me just to say his name. It turns out that he had actually messaged me in the past because I do photography on the side. And he actually messaged me about 6 months ago to come and do photography for him because he wanted to put it on Airbnb. So he wanted me to do the photographs for him. And I couldn't take the job because I was busy working. So imagine if I had taken that job, I would have done the photographs of the house. I would have known that this is a scam because clearly I would know the owner. But I missed that opportunity because I was working, and then it turns out that I got scammed on the house. It was so ironic, that so crazy. Anyways, so we go home to our house we're getting evicted from, and we're calling our families and letting them know what's happened, that we've been scammed, and we're so disheartened, and you know, we're stressing out and all the rest of the above. And then I text him, because he hasn't, obviously we haven't heard nothing from him this whole time. So I text him and I said to him, listen, all I'm gonna ask you to do is to return the money and leave it as that. I won't get involved, I won't do anything, just return my money. It's fine. No response. And then I said to him, and then my next message was, if you don't, I will find you. No taken.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
I will find you and I will kill you. That was what I was at that point. No response. Anyway, it was 2 days later, or the next day, the very next day, I get a phone call. And so I pick up, I'm like, hello, and the person said, hello, is this Ken? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, did you also get scammed? The moment he said that, I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I got scammed. And he was like, okay, I haven't been scammed yet, but this guy, I was supposed to come today to pay my deposit. So I've come to pay my deposit and I've met the real landlord. So I was like, what? So I was like, is he picking up your calls? He said, yes. So I said, perfect, amazing. I said, no problem, book it for tonight. Tell him you're gonna come and pay the deposit tonight, but don't obviously tell him that you can't meet him at the house because you're busy, that you'll meet him like, we said somewhere in Stratford, which is a nearby city. So no problem. So he arranged that with the scammer guy. And then I called the other couple, because I took their number as well, and I told him that what just happened. So he said that he'll meet us in Stratford around 6 o'clock. So I called my brothers. I'm like, yo, it's about to go down. Avengers!
Assemble.
Get here now. So literally, my brothers, we pulled up. My brothers came. It was me and my two brothers and the guy who got scammed. No, sorry, me and my two brothers and the guy that was about to pay. We all met up and then we drove to Stratford. The guy that was meant to pay the deposit, he left to the meeting spot, I think somewhere in like McDonald's or somewhere nearby. And then we met up with the other guy who got scammed. So we were around the corner. And then when they got into the building, and he was about to make the money, we were going to come and intercept it. So we're hiding around the corner now, waiting. My older brother, he's gone inside to sort of see what's happening, because he knows obviously what the guy looks like, because he was with us, the guy who was about to pay. So because the scammer doesn't know who my older brother is, he wouldn't know anything's happening. So my brother was sort of sitting nearby. And then when they met, he was gonna call us. But I think the scammer guy was onto it. He was onto something was happening, so he never came. So he said he was there, but he never came for ages. I think he was sitting somewhere where he could see, but no one could see him, just to assess the situation, to make sure nothing was happening. About half an hour has gone by, and obviously we haven't moved. So he's probably thinking, oh, yeah, I could probably get this guy's money. So the scammer guy meets up with this guy. And my brother calls me a little bit too early, says, yeah, the guy's here. So they had met, but they hadn't gone, so they were going upstairs into McDonald's or Burger King to sit down. Now, when you go up the stairs, so it's like a shopping mall, and you walk in the shopping mall and the stairs is literally right there. You go up the stairs, but the wall is a glass mirror. So you could see outside. So as they're going upstairs, my brother's called us saying he's here. I'm so excited, I've just run straight there to to go and intercept. I should have waited like at least like 5 minutes or 3 minutes just for them to go and sit down, but I was rushing. I ran there, and as I walked towards the entrance, they're going up the stairs, and I've run to the entrance. He's looked out, he's seen me, and he's legged it. He's just ran. So as he's running, we're all chasing him in the shopping mall. Bah, 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 bah. We're running, we're chasing him, and we catch him, and we
battered him. Let's be real.
We
battered him.
Yeah.
Battered him.
We showed him East London culture. There was a lot of security guards there, as there would be a lot of people there that saw what's happening. They thought he was a victim, and they were trying to, resolve the situation. They called the police. Police were there in like 3 minutes. As soon as the police came up, so we held him, and we was dragging him. So the intention was to drag him around the corner and to strip him of everything he had. He thought he was gonna die. So he was holding on to railings, fences. He cut his hand holding fences. And we took him, just as we got round the corner, we literally got there, the police literally were on scene straight away.
The police or security guard?
The police.
Oh, okay.
Police were there straight away. And they obviously took charge of the situation immediately, and then we told them what happened. The frustrating part was that he had a side bag. In that side bag, he had £5,000 cash. He had 50 keys and different bank cards and addresses. So I was so frustrated because I was only seeing red. I should have been a bit more calculated and just taking his bag, taking my money back, and then go. But that didn't happen. So the police obviously took statements. They did all the things they had to do. They're very professional. We explained to them what happened, that we got scammed. He also got scammed, and this guy was about to be scammed. We found the guy, and then we beat him up. And the police were like, okay. And then we all left our statements. And then because of what they found on him, they found, all the keys, all the different bank cards in different names, all the home addresses in different names, with all that money on him. They had enough to obviously convict him. To arrest him. Which they did, especially with the testimonies of, the three witnesses that were there. And yeah. So it was like, and then I looked at him in his eyes and I said, I told you I'll find you. And I loved that moment. It would have just been more perfect if I got my money back. So yeah, that's literally what happened. And then obviously with the whole police situation, I'm not going to get into that because that's just extra boring, but basically they said that they didn't have enough information to convict him. So
they said this a couple months ago, however many years later.
So a couple.
Wait, we didn't even say it. Even when it was like in the freshness of it, they went to his house and they found that luxury cars, laptops, computers, designer clothes, like they found bare stuff, like,
and they seized everything,
bare incriminating stuff, and they just took everything.
Yeah, so the police said that it was inconclusive, there was nothing they can do, and if I wanted my money back, I had to appeal their decision. So, which is just another bull. Just another bull crap. Like I'm gonna do it though.
They had all the evidence. All the evidence. What more evidence could you need? The guy was a scammer. He scammed at least 3 people. 3 people that were right there in your face to tell you scammed them. He scammed them. Sorry, and you're coming back and saying there's not enough evidence. Not enough evidence for who? You got witnesses and you've got evidence. We should have just taken matters into our own hands. Exactly. Sometimes you have to. So then, and this is the part I didn't tell you. So after we beat him up, we took his phones. There was 2 phones that we took. One we gave to the police, but one we kept on us because we was thinking that maybe his peoples were gonna call him and try and get through to his peoples, and then try and figure something out and get my money back that way. But it turned out that phone was the scam phone. So we was literally getting phone call after phone call after phone call. So we got a phone call and the guy was like, hey, when can I move in? And I was like, oh my days, are you here for this address? And they were like, yeah, listen, I've just been scammed by this guy and
we've just found him, we've just beat him up, the police have just arrested him, and we've stolen his phone. They were like, what? I'm like, yeah, you've just been scammed. Yeah, it's a tough situation. Called the police, and we just hung up because I wasn't going to deal with their issues. And we literally got about, on the ride home, we got about 15 phone calls, and there was even some for other addresses. Like, some people paid $3,000, like $5,000, $4,000, $2,000. We literally, like, we'll get a phone call, like, oh, I'm headed to the house. I'm like, mate, it's a scam. And they're like, what? Listen. And we've just beat this guy up, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh my days. They were asking, how much did you pay? I was like, $3,500. I'm like, oh my days. So we calculated it, just with the 20 people that called, there was literally like £80,000 that he had scammed from those people.
That is mad.
So it was ridiculous.
My biggest regret is that I wasn't there. Because if I would have gone in there, I would have battered it myself.
My biggest regret is that I didn't take his bag. He had a side patch on. My biggest regret is that I didn't take that. I should have just taken that. He just taken that off him, and
you got that extra $3,000
and
compensation.
I also wish I wish I just given him a black eye or bust his nose or something. Because I chose not to. Like, I remember when I gave him the first hit, I just looked. I just thought, let me not even, I don't know, I'll just be, I'm a nice guy. And this is what I was saying, imagine if it was the wrong person he met and that same situation happened. Just imagine if it was the wrong person. I can tell you so many people that I know that I grew up with, that if they were in my situation right now, they'll be in prison right now because that guy will be dead. It's just that real. So if anything, that guy should count himself lucky. Anyway, so
yeah, to that story.
That's our story, guys.
I don't trust renters now. Anything to do with renting, I don't trust it.
Yeah,
I don't trust it.
That's why we just do it through an estate agent.
And even then, it's not guaranteed, man. Just make sure you set your terms.
Yeah, make sure you set your terms. If you can set your terms,
I think we did that this time around, isn't it?
Yeah, we set our terms. We said that.
No break clause.
There was no break clause in it.
Contract.
Yeah, there was no break clause. If you renting it out to us, it's a long-term rent, and the minimum contract is 1 year that we're gonna sign, with no break clause. So, yeah, that's something that we didn't know we can do. So for all those out there, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about renting, look at the break clause.
Read the contract.
Read the contract properly. For sure. But most importantly, the break clause. If the landlord has a break clause, what that literally means is that they can legally, whatever the clause is that they can uphold it. So legally, if a landlord rents the house to you, they have 6 months to basically break that contract. So within 6 months, they have to evict you.
Is that 6 months, or is that just her particular contract?
No, that is the law though, isn't it? Yeah, so it's 6 months.
7
they've
months.
got, but they need to give you a minimum of 2 months notice. So that's why we said she did it tactfully,
she because
we were there for 4 months when we received it. So she literally extended it to.
But we had the house for 5 months because we rented it before we got married, and we got married at the beginning of May, and we got married end of May. So we had a whole month that we actually weren't using it. We never moved in until after our honeymoon, 2 weeks after our wedding. So we were only living there for 4 months, but we'd been renting it for 5 months. So that's why she hit it bang on the cut-off point. Literally the
cut-off point was when we received it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then even when we think about it as well, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, it doesn't matter anyway. But I was gonna say, like, even when we think about now, when we was trying to get back our deposit. Like, she didn't respond for ages. She wasn't trying to give us back our deposit.
Oh, this woman, if I ever met her,
literally, she wasn't trying to give us back our deposit. We was literally till the very last day, or like the last week, that she could respond, where it was just auto, because I escalated it, where it goes, where the decision is not made by anyone anymore. It's not by either one of us. And like, we did the house perfectly. We sent in all the pictures. Everything was fantastic.
I think the only thing that was different to the itinerary, because they give you an itinerary when you move in to check everything's in proper working order, was that Kenny chopped down a tree. It's like a bush. It's a magnolia tree
magnolia
that wasn't in
tree.
bloom. So
I didn't realise it was a magnolia tree.
yeah, so he chopped down the tree because this guy don't like bush. He doesn't like anything.
Don't like all that sugary stuff. So I chopped it down, and then
that
was the only thing she said.
Oh, it was the wallpaper. She tried to say that we didn't return
the
it back
wallpaper.
To
yeah, but we got permission to.
Yeah, she gave us permission to put the wallpaper.
But she did. It did say to be returned back to it or better.
Well, it was better.
It was definitely better, but she obviously didn't want to say it was better because she wanted to take money from us. Because we was trying to get our money back and moving and whatnot, we just didn't even bother fighting it. We were just like, I think the deposit was like 1,200, and I think we got back like 900 or 800.
Yeah, something like that. So
like £300-400 off, but I just didn't even fight it. I just took it and just moved on.
Listen, she's lucky that she's lucky I never see her on the road.
Some people are just really scummy like that. But anyway, guys, that's our little story for you.
Don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
Don't trust nobody. Everybody's scumbags. Let's be real.
Everyone, trust me, it's crazy.
However, our landlord now is an absolute angel. I don't know where he came from, but he is a godsend. Anyway, guys,
that's it for us. Thank you so much for watching our video, for tuning in.
Yes, I'm joking. If there's any other stories or any other like experiences that you want to hear about, comment below. You know, if you want to know how we met or like our wedding.
I think we should share that.
Our wedding experience was that.
Oh my god, our wedding story is so funny.
We'll be a wood night though.
I think we'll share our wedding story. Know how we met?
How we met?
Yeah.
No, because it won't be conclusive because you've got one story and I've got one story.
Then it'll be a start, isn't it?
Maybe we'll call Sonia and she can verify for us.
Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel, guys. And yeah, and all that jazz. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Peace.